We begin, of course, with the baseball season. We'll have a lot of Yankee tickets to give away, and we will have a meaningful September. And that's where we begin, and that's what we'll spend a lot of time on early in the program. And, later on we'll have Terry Collins. Today we'll have Peter Gammons. You'll hear from the guys on the Yankees coming up very soon, Mark Feinstein and Sweeney, to kind of give us a little Yankee therapy, a little Yankee report coming up about an hour from now. Number one, I don't know why everyone wants to run away from a September pennant race. I mean, are we that spoiled that the idea is if the Yanks don't win by 10 games, it doesn't count? I mean, has it come to that point where you just don't even want a pennant race? In the old days, you used to be thrilled if your team was even in a pennant race come Labor Day. Here are the Yankees in front on Labor Day, and everyone is in a sheer panic because they have let a 10-game lead shrink to 1. Now, it's been ugly. It's been lousy baseball. And the Yankees have done a very poor job. I keep hearing Joe Girardi say day after day, well, I think we've handled our injuries very well. No, they haven't. They've handled adversity terribly. There were the Yankees in early July, 24 games over 500, running away with the darn thing. And since then, the Yankees have played terrible baseball. Now, in the short term, they've played terrible baseball over the last 13 games at 4-9. But over a bigger span, over 42 games, the Yankees are 18-24. I don't want to hear about the injuries. Everybody's got injuries. Get the job done. Nobody cares. Everybody has injuries. Every team misses guys. You go down the list, I can give you a team and how many guys they've put on a DL this year and how many pitchers have gotten hurt and how many people have gotten hurt. No one cares. But this myth that the Yankees have handled adversity well is that it's a myth. They've handled adversity terribly this year. As soon as they've had some, they've collapsed. The Yankees haven't had a clutch hit all year. We know that. They've won because the times they've pitched well. Soriano has filled in it admirably. And right now there are Yankees. Here's the Yankees I'd say you could say were playing well. Jeter, Kuroda, Soriano, Chavez, and until of late, you could put Ibanez in there. That's it. No one else. No one else has played that well. No one. Not Cano, not CeCe. None of them have played well. No one gets a big hit. No one gets a clutch hit. They haven't got a clutch hit all year. And now no one pitches in the clutch because these last couple of days, Phil Hughes, did he not have a 3-1 lead? How about an hour or two after a 3-1 lead? And yesterday, did CeCe have to relinquish it bing, bing, bing to a bad hitting team? How about a couple outs? How about put a couple of outs up? The idea that, listen, it's everybody. And yes, they have had injuries. They have amazingly, and that's really one of the stories that has just gone unchecked. The Yankees have not had a look back after losing Mariano Rivera all year, which is almost unfathomable. If you had said Mo's going to be out all year, you would be like, oh, my God. That has not been a problem. But they have missed Andy. They have missed Gardner's catalytic. He's not a great player, but he gives him a little speed, gives him a little pop, gives him that pop, it gives him a little boost, gives him a little speed, gives him a little chance to be a catalyst, build some runs. So I miss Gardy a little bit in the rotation. But A-Rod going out clearly hurt. To share an A-Rod out together leaves you so vulnerable to left-handed pitching. When you have to bat Andrew Jones cleanup, you have a problem. And then, of course, Granderson has been very hit or miss. Swisher, who got very hot in the 2-hole but has cooled off, very hit or miss. And even Cano, let's be honest, Cano's numbers hold up. And Cano's a great talent. But, hey, how has Cano been with the bases loaded this year? How's Cano been with men in scoring position this year? Cano has hit a bunch of home runs. He has not done a whole lot. His RBI total is awful. But everybody's RBI total is awful because the Yankees have done an almost impossibly bad job building runs all year. They don't get on base enough like they used to, and they don't move guys first to third. They don't get 2-out hits. They don't get the bloop. They don't get the little C&I single. They don't get every kind of hit that Tampa got yesterday. They don't get. They hit home runs or they go home. They hit home runs or they don't score. They are probably as poor at building a run as any team in the major leagues. And Joe hasn't done everything right by any stretch of the imagination. He's had his moments with pitches, as every manager does. He's also had some very faulty lineups. I mean, really, it doesn't make sense at times to bat Ichiro 8. Bat him 9. He gets lost at 8. Bat him 9. Let him double lead off with G. That makes more sense to me than batting him. I know they're trying to think, well, we don't want you hitting the ground ball double plays, and we like it better if they... Hey, you can't be bunting your catcher every time Ichiro gets a hit. All right, you can do that when Stewart plays, but you can't do that all the time. Bat him 9 all the time. And finally, he got Grandy at the top of the lineup and put Swisher in there. That worked for a while. There was that hot streak there, and the Yanks looked like they were out of it until these last 13. I mean, they looked like they had finally come out of it again, and they haven't. And they haven't gotten a lift from CC Sabathia, and they haven't gotten it. And, seems like Hughes can go along, and he'll pitch well, but when you need it, it just doesn't happen. Their pitching has just not been good. And you have confidence tonight with Freddie Garcia going to the mound? I mean, I never do. How many times is it, Freddie's got a 4-1 lead, and we're trying to get him through the 5th inning with the bases loaded? I mean, it seems like that's every game. 2 out in the 5th. Can Freddie get another out? Bases loaded. Oh, there's a base hit. Seems to be the day, every day. Nova went to the deal, but how was Nova pitching before he went to the deal? So they have desperately missed Andy Pettitte. But if the pitching was set up where they were going to desperately miss Andy Pettitte, then the pitching wasn't as good as we thought. And it hasn't been. So there is so many things you can talk about this team. The injuries, yes, to Teixeira and A-Rod. Having them both out of lineup at the same time against the lefties is death for the Yankees right now. And A-Rod does give you, and this is a very big opportunity for A-Rod right now. If A-Rod can get hot right now as he comes back and really carry, because A-Rod's capable of carrying a baseball team. If he could get this team and put it on its back for 10 days and deliver them, back to a 4 or 5 game lead, he will be a hero this year. It's right there for A-Rod right now. Now, A-Rod always wants to be loved. This is a great opportunity for him. He can come in right now and really make his presence felt in a very big way. It's right there for him because they need somebody right now to, in the middle of that lineup, take charge and win some ball games. Get a big hit. Get a couple of big hits. And, you don't have to always do it with the single. You can do it with the 3-run homer. You can do it. Look what Reynolds did to the Yankees. We're talking about feast or famine. I mean, how much did Reynolds, how many times has Reynolds killed the Yankees? I know he killed the Mets too at times. I understand that. And he's got a lot of power. I understand. There's a little Kingman in him, basically. But, that's this kind of stuff you're missing. You're getting a lot of solo homers. You're not getting a lot of 3-run homers. You're not getting 2-out hits. You're not getting the out when you have to get the out. And then yesterday, I know it all came down to the Cano play. First of all, Cano didn't run. Let's be honest, folks. Let's as Yankee fans, tell it like it is. Cano doesn't hustle all the time. What a shock. He is an incredibly gifted player, offensively, defensively. He's one of the more gifted players in the sport. He does not run hard. All right? Is he the only one who doesn't? No. Does he not run hard a lot? Yes. He doesn't run out ground balls. He doesn't bust it. And a lot of times he nonchalants it in the field, as he did again yesterday. Do I buy the hip injury? No, I don't. I'm sorry. The hip injury was extremely convenient. Extremely convenient. In that part of the game, you have to break with what you believe is your game and keep that ball on the infield, hook or crook. That's all there is to it. Okay? I know Robbie thought he was going to get to the ball. I'm not buying that he was, somehow tweaked his hip as he went for it. Nonsense. He just should have got the ball. And listen, this is not about picking on Cano. Cano, we all know what Cano is and isn't. He doesn't hustle. He nonchalants balls, but he also is a great player. Both ways. But it's no shock to anybody when Cano doesn't run out of ground ball. I mean, listen, there's a lot of players that don't. It's amazing in baseball. We notice the guys who do, not the guys who don't. There's more don't than do. Whether it's hitting a ball and saying, oh, I better run, this ball's not over the fence, or it's just not running out, the ground ball is short. This is not just about Robbie Cano, because we could be here for a month talking about guys who don't run out ground balls. Like I said, we notice the guys like Jeter who do. But really the essence of this more than anything else is, and it does remind me a little bit of 96. It reminds me a little bit of 2000. Hey, one thing, before you have a parade in Baltimore or a parade in Tampa, they still have to get and maintain first place. The Yankees still are in first place. And there's no saying that you're not allowed to, have a lead melt away. It happened to the Yankees in 96. And if I remember right, they won a championship. And it happened to the Yankees in 2000. And if I remember right, they won a championship. So the idea that this Yankee season now is over, as you're hearing in a lot of, everyone's caught up with the Yankees, this ship is sinking. Hey, there is plenty of time to right this ship. There is plenty of talent here to right this ship. But it is about time that this team that has really taken the last 40 games and played terrible baseball. I don't think they haven't tried. I don't think they haven't hustled. I don't think they became fat cat. I don't think anything. I think they just played lousy baseball and they missed a lot of people. They got bad performances from guys in the rotation. They had guys hurt. They had guys on the DL. They haven't had a full complement throughout the whole time. They've been banged up. We understand all that, and they're older. You add all that up, and you wind up with a team that has watched a 10-game lead and a team that looked like it was on its way to a 100-win season now find itself a day after Labor Day, a game in front, trying to hold off a couple of teams in an American League now where the wild card is not a foregone conclusion, which means you play in September without a net. But, hey, that's what baseball's about. This is exactly what you want. You want a pennant race week. I'm looking forward to this week. Couple of games in Tampa. Couple of games in Baltimore. Boston trying to play a spoiler. Well, right now, Boston couldn't beat anybody. They can't even hit themselves when they try to have a fight. And if anybody thinks Bobby Valentine's going to be the manager next year, I mean, how many players, since that trade, I've heard 100 times, well, Bobby's coming back next year. Oh, yeah. Call me when he's there, okay, next year. Bobby? Ray's got a better chance of managing the Red Sox next year than Bobby Valentine does. I mean, you talk about something that has imploded. And it never was, not his fault, but he has sure contributed to the mess, to the chaos that has become the Red Sox. The absolute chaos. And if anybody's wondering why the Dodgers went out and made this trade and got these stars, before you say, what are they thinking? How could they possibly do this? Check out the deal they signed for TV. And then tell me why they did it. See how many zeros are in the TV deal they signed. Those new owners. See how many zeros are in that. And then say, wait a second. Now if I do the math, it kind of makes sense. I went and got some stars for television. This is L.A. This is the West Coast. So before, how could you? The word, see the numbers. Might make a little more sense. A little more sense before you think they're just out of their minds completely. But now, hey, next week Tampa's in on a Friday. Might be a nice day to do a remote and have a nice big, weekend series against the Rays. This is September pennant race baseball. This is what you want. This is what you wait all year for. Yeah, they've played miserably. But they're still in first place. You know what? The race is on. It's September 4th. First one to October 3rd. Let's go.